Hi all, welcome to my world of homemaking and motherhood journey. We as homemakers are responsible to create a beautiful and fruitful life for the ones who dwell and grow in our care. I understood the importance of my involvement as a homemaker a little late. Cleaning and decorating was all I thought is enough to make house a heaven. But the more I got involved, I realized there is more to it. Time management, providing good food, saving money, reducing wastage of food are today's necessity to have a frugal lifestyle. Today's video is all about how I store my veggies to reduce waste and save money to some extent. I will first cover the essentials of Indian kitchen in two parts. In this part, I'm going to cover potatoes, onions, spring onions, herbs that I use, green chilies and lemons. This is purely on my research and that has worked for me. Your suggestions are welcome with whole heart. Let's begin with potatoes then. I simply follow the rule of first in first out whenever I store my veggies, leftovers or groceries. Empty the basket, place the freshly bought stocks and then add the old ones above so that they are consumed first and aren't wasted. I make place for baby potatoes too in the same basket. To avoid the early sprouting of potatoes, keep an apple. The apple gives off ethylene gas which prevents potatoes from sprouting. I trim the plastic bag from the top to create a small opening so that they are easy to grab and they don't get mixed with the big ones. On my utility makeover video, many suggested me to keep onions and potatoes separate. So, I kept the onions in a different basket. I follow same rule as for potatoes. It's FIFO, first in first out. I line a paper bag at the base for easy cleaning.
Where we used to play hide and seek.
Remove the loosened skin and loosely cover it with a newspaper to avoid contact with the moisture. Next comes the spring onion. I store them in 3 ways as per my use. Here are some storage options which I use to store my spring onions. An airtight container, a glass jar, I'll show the usage in few minutes, and this airtight plastic box with a drain board. It actually keeps food from getting soggy. This box has tightly closed lid. I will leave the links in my description box. Do check them out. Since we are talking today about how to stop food waste, the first step towards achieving that is to buy only as much as you need and purchase them as you consume. For example, here, in our case, the spring onion is used mostly for toppings when we cook Chinese style food. Rest of the green parts I make sukhi sabzi, which is delicious and stops the food from being wasted. A bunch of spring onion is too much just for toppings. So I chop a small portion of it and store them in this airtight glass box, lining it with a paper towel. Next, I separate the onions and the green part. I remove the unwanted and withered leaves. And store it in the plastic box, properly covering it with a paper towel in order to stop incoming contact with the moisture. I use it within 2 days of purchase. I don't prefer washing and storing the green leaves as they make them soggy. Now is the turn of onions. Peel off the outer layer for longer use. Swirl and wash them properly in the water until you get rid of all the muds. I will place the onions in the glass jar upright and fill up to 1 inch of water. When the roots are soaked in the cold water, they will start growing the stems in a week's time. It worked for me in the fridge too, but I wanted to try out in the windowsill this time. Only thing is, it's difficult to hold so many onions in one single jar, so I used another one. Change the water when you find it little funky. Sometimes leaf sorting are time consuming, so I make it smoother by sitting in front of the TV and watching something that suits my mind. Again, I'm going to store the mint leaves, the coriander leaves and the curry leaves as per my use. These curry leaves have wilted, but I won't throw them. I'll take you through an interesting process, so stay hooked. The first thing that I do whenever I purchase green is to open the bunch, remove the weeds and grasses, etc. Spread them on the table. I'm going to pick some fresh leaves along with the stem, make a bunch and keep it in a glass half filled with water. Cover the leaves with a Ziploc bag loosely to prevent the contact with air. Second method in which I store the coriander leaves is I separate the leaves from the stem. I store only the leaves in an airtight glass jar. It adds up as a food dresser on my dishes. Well, the left ones from the previous purchase undergo the process of natural drying. I tie them together and hang them upside down in a cold place. Leave them to dry. it takes few days time as it is a slow process. Just make sure you keep them away from direct sunlight. Rest are wrapped in a paper towel and stored in a Ziploc bag, the most common method that every homemaker prefers. Keep away from moisture and they are good to last in your fridge for at least 2 weeks. Some I will keep aside along with the stems of corianders, as I generally make green chutney out of it, which rescues me for the following week. I follow the same methods for mint leaves too, as I store the corianders. When it comes to leaves used for dressing, the mint leaves are wrapped in a newspaper to distinguish them from the coriander leaves and stored in the same jar. Now comes the curry leaves. The fresh ones I store in the necessary box, where I store the main ingredients that help to give tadka or is mainly used for tempering upmas. This box comes with 3 compartments. One holds my ginger, one holds my green chilies, and the other one holds lemon and curry leaves. I have made a fridge organization video long back. If you people are interested, you can watch. I will leave the link in my description box. This box is very handy, and when in rush, I know where to find all my ingredients. Now let's tackle the wilted curry leaves. They have turned dark and some have already dried. Separate the leaves from the stem, spread them on a microwave-safe dish or plate and microwave it for 30 seconds for 2-3 times until they are crispy dry. The leaves needed one more round. Meanwhile, I'll store my sorted essential veggies. As you can see, they are crispy dry. All I'm going to do is grind them into powder and store them in an airtight jar. The smell, the freshness is restored, and this can last up to 6 months. Since the sorting and storing part is dealt with, let's wrap the leaf storing job by making the green chutney, for which I have taken some mint leaves and coriander stems, added half inch ginger, 2 slit green chilies, handful of roasted peanuts, pinch of salt, juice of half lemon, and a little water, and bring them to grind. Transfer it to a glass container and store it in the fridge. Does the work for a week. I store the green chilies only in one way, and it's by storing it in the necessary box. The chilies are consumed within a week. Never felt the need of storing it in any other ways. Well, you people have an option to pickle them, but I have never tried. I just wash them properly, dry them completely, separate the stems and store them in an airtight box. It stays fresh for more than a week. During summers, the prices of lemons rises drastically. I tried storing the lemons in a glass jar full of water, but changing water was really not acting feasible for me. So the first method is I squeeze the juices out, filter them and store them in the freezer. It can be used to make instant lemonades. The squeezed out lemons are not thrown away. I preserve them by keeping it in a jar of salt. It keeps the lemon soft, and once they are half full, I will make pickle out of it. I keep 2-3 whole lemons as backup and store them in the Ziploc bag. Just make sure you take out all extra vacuum from the bag. Well, next week I'll come up with the part 2 of storing essential veggies, which is continuation of this. I hope you could relate the method of storing the veggies as per my usage and found this piece of content helpful. Please share your inputs below on my comment box and let's get connected. Like, share, comment, subscribe if not yet and help the channel grow. Meet you all soon. Till then, bye-bye.